Hey friends, suppose you have two candidates standing in front of you, and you are a manager or leader of a big company who has to choose one of them for a job. The job is in coding, and among the two candidates, the first one's name is Mr. John. Now, this John is a coding genius. He has a lot of knowledge in coding, but when you talk to him, you realize that his communication skills aren't that great. On the other hand, candidate number 2 is Mr. Freddie, whose coding skills are okay, good enough, not bad, but his communication skills are excellent. He can present his ideas well, communicate with you effectively, and because of this, you could say he has already handled many clients before, talked to them, and built a good rapport. Now, which one of the two would you give the job to? I want you to comment and tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done? Now, let me tell you an interesting fact. If it crossed your mind that communication doesn't matter, and you should just pick Mr. John because he's a coding genius, and the job is also in coding, then listen to this carefully. In 2023, LinkedIn's Global Talent Trends report revealed that 92% of hiring managers always choose candidates whose communication skills are superior to their technical skills. This is because people with good communication can talk effectively with others, manage teams well, handle clients efficiently, and, you could say, because of their strong communication, their interview goes well. Whatever the reason may be, but the fact is that most people give superior roles to those with strong communication skills, and such people progress further in life, even if someone else's technical skills are better. In fact, according to a Harvard Business Review report, people with top-tier communication skills earn, on average, 15 to 20% more. These are the people who often become CEOs, politicians, and leaders, and run the world. In short, if you want to earn more money, become a leader, improve your relationships, or enhance the overall quality of your life, you must become a good communicator. And I promise you, just give me 15 minutes today. I will turn you into a genius in communication by sharing certain insights and stories that will give you powerful, yet very simple lessons. If you start applying them in your life will change drastically. And I won't just tell you made-up things. I'll also share them from my own personal experience. Plus, there's an amazing book by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a classic that's over 80 to 90 years old, yet its lessons are still highly relevant today and will remain so even 10 years from now. Why? Because the lessons it contains aren't just random tips and tricks. Behind them are deep psychological reasons that you should learn in order to become the best communicator you can be. You should start applying them from today, because if you do, you'll become a better communicator than 99% of people. Plus, all the stories I'm going to share with you today, I want you to look at them like a game and notice how, even though I'll give you different lessons in each story, you'll see one common theme running through all of them. What is that common pattern? I want you to carefully notice it, and after the video ends, make sure to tell me. Because if you can tell me correctly, I will give you free access to my product, the 21 Days Challenge, where I come live and do a Spark routine. But that will only be given to 3 people. So, if you want to be among those 3 lucky winners, make sure to comment and tell me what common theme you found in all 7 stories. Now, let's start with our video. Imagine a large steel factory. It's morning time, and the sound of machines clanking can be heard. Sparks are flying here and there. The workers are drenched in sweat, and their spirits are broken from exhaustion. The thing is, their production has slowed down drastically, which has reduced the company's profits. And overall, everyone's morale has dropped significantly. Now, in the midst of this situation, a man enters. His name is Charles Schwab. He is the boss of that mill. He calmly walks onto the floor where all the work is happening, stands there, and goes up to the mill's foreman, who is like the manager, and in a loud voice asks, "Who has done the best work this week?" The foreman points to a man who is standing there hesitantly, looking nervous, and he introduces himself as James. Schwab walks straight over to James and starts talking to him. At this moment, the entire mill, which had been filled with a lot of noise, has now fallen completely silent. Everyone's eyes are fixed on James. As Schwab talks to him, he learns how James's feedback has greatly helped the mill. So, Schwab takes a $5 bill out of his coat pocket and gives it to him. $5 might not seem like much to you now, but in those days, it was a significant amount of money. And he doesn't just give it. He gives it with joy, saying, "James, by adjusting the furnace settings, you earned this plant hundreds of dollars in profit last week. Thank you so much for telling us this." Now, as soon as James hears this, a special kind of happiness appears on his face. A sense of pride and confidence becomes visible. His eyes show the certainty that he is doing the right work. After this, Charles Schwab simply leaves, and just those words were enough. After that, slowly, all the workers, including some who had been sitting, start getting up. This one small word, "Thank you," heard from the boss's mouth, changes the entire atmosphere of the factory. And not just the atmosphere. You know what? In the next few days, production doubles. Everyone starts bringing in new ideas on how they can increase production and work more efficiently. A new enthusiasm fills everyone. And what was the reason behind it? Just one genuine compliment that the boss gave from the heart. And this is where the book's first lesson comes in. When you sincerely appreciate and respect someone, it often matters much more than money. It not only makes people feel good, but also changes their energy levels. That's why, if you want to become a good communicator, the first thing you should do is start genuinely appreciating people and start saying thank you. Now, let's move on to the next lesson. In the 1,920 seconds, there was a small bank where a problem occurred. The issue was that they had a client whose account they had mistakenly overcharged by 20,000 rupees, according to the currency value of that time. It was a time when people didn't trust banks much because it was the post-war period. People were withdrawing money from banks, not depositing it, and during such a time, a blunder like this could seriously damage the bank's reputation and trust even further. So, the wise thing for the bank to do was to somehow prevent this issue from becoming big and stop the matter from spreading. Otherwise, their name would have been badly tarnished, trust would have been broken, and the business would have suffered even more. You know what the president of that bank did? Instead of hiding the matter, he published a full-page ad in the local newspaper. The headline read, "We made a mistake. We made an error of 20,000, and we will return that money." In this ad, they mentioned the client's name, gave details of the mistake, stated that along with the 20,000 they would also pay interest, and promised all of this while apologizing to everyone for the error. Now, do you know what happened as a result of doing this shocking thing? Look, many people had assumed that if a mistake happens, usually people hide it. But publicly apologizing for it, people did not expect that. That's why the public reaction was overwhelming. Customers started sending letters, saying that they could trust a bank that stands by its mistakes. And then what happened was that, for every person who was withdrawing money, double or even triple that number of people started depositing money, increasing the bank's deposits. Many new people started opening bank accounts. Everyone felt that if this bank could bring such a big mistake to light in front of everyone, it meant they owned up to their errors. This meant the bank could be trusted and was safe for them. The bank, which earlier was barely able to survive, became the most trusted institution in the region after apologizing for this mistake. Profits increased many times over. The number of satisfied clients grew. People even started referring their friends and family members. And what's the lesson here? Well, it's this. Whenever you make a small mistake, instead of arguing about it or giving justifications, simply admit your mistake. This way, you can earn people's trust much more effectively, compared to just giving excuses. And I have personally used this lesson myself. Once, I was driving somewhere, I was running late, and I broke a signal. Now, whether I broke it intentionally or absent-mindedly, I honestly don't remember. But what I do remember is that as soon as I crossed the signal, some policemen were right in front of me. They stopped me and said, "Can't you see there's a traffic light?" So, instead of giving excuses like, "Sorry, I was in a hurry," or "I didn't see it," or "This didn't happen, that didn't happen," I directly said, "Yes, sir. I'm really, really sorry. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have crossed the red signal, but I did. So, sorry." And the policeman himself was a bit shocked. He was surprised that I accepted it like that instead of giving excuses. And he just gave me a warning and let me go. Similarly, when you start owning up to your mistakes, people like it, because most people are busy trying to hide their mistakes. And in this way, you can also influence people. Next, imagine a shoe shop where there are many salesmen, and all these salesmen have memorized a few lines like parrots. Whenever a customer comes to them, They start reciting the same lines about how all their shoes are made of leather and how their black and white shoes are their best sellers. This is this, that is that, and this is the cost, they say. Now, many customers come to such salesmen. They hear the price of the shoes, nod their heads, and then leave. In this situation, there is one particular salesman. Let's call him Rohit for now. Rohit does something different. Whenever a customer comes to him, instead of reciting memorized lines, what he does is he directly asks a question. Sir, what kind of shoes are you looking for? Comfortable shoes or stylish shoes? Now, most customers find this question interesting, thinking, oh, what has he asked? Then they start thinking, all right, I need shoes for going to the office every day, so I'd prefer comfort over style. So, what does Rohit do then? He smiles, then goes inside and brings out shoes with special cushioning. He tells the customer, sir, even if you wear these shoes for 10 or 12 hours, your feet will remain perfectly fine and flexible. After that, he helps the customer try them on and lets them feel the comfort. How are the shoes? And in fact, not just that, he says, sir, if you really like the comfort, let me tell you, there's also a slightly more stylish version of this. I'll bring it from inside for you. Then he finds and brings colors the customer likes, black, brown, navy blue, and has them try those on, still keeping the focus on comfort. And guess what? Using this kind of sales strategy, where most salesmen normally earn $300 to $400, this guy started earning over $1,000. And from this story, you can learn not one, not two, but 3 lessons. The first is, whenever you go to talk to someone, what do most people do? They just start talking about themselves. We have this, we are like this is our product, take this, take that. But what did the salesman do here? Instead of talking, he asked questions. You should also ask your customers questions. Second, you should talk about things that are not of your interest, but of their interest. Like, what do you need? If comfort's the aim, then probe deeper, discuss it. Basically, talk about the things the other person is interested in, not you. And lastly, in this story, Rohit also focused on results. It wasn't just about talking. He actually brought and gave shoes that were comfortable. Similarly, if you also ask people questions, talk about their interests, and focus on getting them good results, you can become not just a powerful and influential salesperson, but even a CEO or a world leader. In fact, many great books I've read say the same thing, that you should have a customer-first approach and focus more on the customer. Focus on what they want. If you can read the customer's pulse, you can become a millionaire or even a billionaire. But the key is to keep the focus on them, which, many times, we don't do. Next, there was once a Ford salesman who sold Ford cars. One day, a customer came in and started inquiring about a Ford car. Then, in the course of the conversation, the customer started saying how Chevrolet cars were much better than Ford cars. Now, usually, if it were any other salesman sitting in a Ford showroom, someone representing Ford, ideally, what would you think he should do? He should immediately say, "No, you're wrong. Ford cars are better." But do you know what he actually did? Instead of disagreeing, this salesman started agreeing, saying, "Yes, you're right." And even added, "That's a very good point you made. Chevrolet cars are indeed very good." In this way, the salesman kept agreeing, and gradually, the guy praising Chevrolet cars spoke and spoke until he got tired. Eventually, he ran out of things to say. After that, the salesman began talking about some points regarding Ford, and guess what? That guy ended up buying a Ford car and leaving. The lesson here is that many times, when we want to convince someone, the first thing we tend to do is start disagreeing. But by agreeing and letting people speak until they are exhausted, and then presenting your point of view, there's a much higher chance they will listen to you and understand your perspective. Ralph Waldo Emerson and his son were once trying to get a calf inside, basically, into the house. Emerson was pushing hard from behind, and his son was pulling from the front. In other words, they were both using force from opposite sides, but still, the calf wouldn't move from its spot. It wasn't budging an inch, just standing right there. They kept trying, and eventually got tired. Then what happened was, their housemaid, an Irish woman who worked for them, came over and put her fingers into the calf's mouth. Now, the calf wasn't that big, and since it was used to drinking milk, it immediately started sucking on her finger. And as soon as it started sucking, slowly, she pulled the calf along with her fingers and let it inside, tied up. What's the lesson here? The lesson is, if you want the other person, or even an animal, to do what you want, first give them what they want. Then, they will happily do what you want them to do. So, these were some powerful stories and lessons. Now, I would like you to comment on what common theme, common pattern, or common lesson you found in all these stories. As I promised, I will give 3 lucky winners a free course, the 21-day live course, where I come live, share insights, and interact with you. If you want to join that live session, make sure to comment. If you haven't already, also comment on which other amazing book summaries you would like to see. And if you are commenting, then if possible, like the video if you enjoyed it, or else share this video with others so they can also learn how to communicate better, so that their communication can improve. Whoever you feel doesn't have good communication skills, the ones who keep criticizing, make sure to send this video to them so they understand that you don't have to just criticize. People can be influenced in other ways too. And subscribe, because I will keep bringing you free summaries of such books. That's all for now. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.